Good morning. Today is the day. Really, tomorrow's the day. Today's like the day before the day. It's the 2 days. It's like the week, really, what it's gonna be. But today is the day that my friend John and I are getting on a couple planes, heading to South Carolina, flying into the Greenville Spartanburg Airport, being picked up in a BMW X5, taken to the Greenville Marriott for dinner on BMW, overnight on BMW, because tomorrow is the day that we are going to the BMW Performance Center in Spartanburg, South Carolina to pick up my 2023 BMW M8 Coupe. And Greg, you know that because you clicked on the thumbnail for this video, which interestingly at this point in my life does not exist because I don't have the car yet. But hey, if you're watching this video, give it a thumbs up because that means I got the car and yay me. And this car has been a long time in the coming. A little backstory, I knew about the 8s, but I never even looked at them. I've had a bunch of 3 and 4 series cars and recently got an X3 and they were fine. And I knew about the 8s. I've been a BMW guy for like 15 years, but I knew how big the 7s were. And if each number is one bigger, well, that 8 must be like a Land Cruiser. And I knew how expensive the 7s were. And if each number is bigger, well, that 8 must be like unobtainium. So I just knew it was not a reality and I put it out of my head and I went on my merry 3 and 4 series way. Then a couple things happened. I went to a BMW M Track Days at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and I walked up and there were 3 M8 Coupes and I was just in awe of them. I'd never seen such a beautiful car. And then we got to drive them on the track. We went 130 on the track in the Indy 500 track in M8s and it was amazing. But it was kind of like when a 10-year-old sees a Ferrari and you're in lust with it, but you recognize, never in my life am I going to own one of those. So out of my head, it went again. And then a few more things happened. They dropped the price some, still expensive, but they dropped the price some. And then through careful planning, hard work, and a little bit of luck, tomorrow that dream is finally becoming a reality and I am picking up that M8 Coupe. My friend John is Ubering over here as we speak. He is a longtime BMW guy, longer than me actually. He got me interested in the brand. And we went last year to pick up his X3M for a Performance Center delivery. And I've been to a bunch of other BMW events together. And my parents are driving over here and they are going to be our chauffeur to the airport at this ripe early hour of 5:44 a.m. So I will catch you all on the way. Want to be on YouTube?
No.
For what? We're getting ready to go get the car.
Yeah. You want to come?
No.
Okay.
So here we are in Greenville.
Here we are.
It's starting to get closer. It's been a long time.
It's been 262 days.
How's it feel?
Yeah, surreal to finally be here getting this car that I never thought I would own.
All right, we're here. Today is the day. It is kind of cool and misty outside. It's supposed to rain all day. 80% chance of rain for most of the day, and it's kind of misting. It's 7:30. We are leaving in, 10 minutes. So I'm gonna go get our stuff, and we're gonna meet everyone back in the lobby and head over to the Performance Center. Brief interlude here. Many of you are probably familiar with the BMW Performance Center and the BMW Performance Center experience. But for those of you that are not, I wanted to just kind of talk through it and help everyone else out during this video, kind of narrating as we're going along. The morning of the delivery, you meet in the hotel lobby after breakfast around 7:40. You get on the hotel shuttle and you take the shuttle about 10 minutes over to the Performance Center. You get off the shuttle, you go into the lobby. There are some cars that are there for delivery for some people. Some people get delivery early, some people get delivery after lunch. And then you generally all go into the classroom. They do some staff and instructor introductions, and they talk about the different areas of the Performance Center, different things they have there. the different technologies that the cars have that will help kind of protect you and keep you safe on the road. And then after that, you head outside. Now, whatever car you are there picking up, they have a repository of, I forget how many, but a really lot of cars. They have this parking lot where they stock all these cars, and whatever car you're there to pick up, you drive a variation, a similar car to what you're there to get. So in my case, they had a brand new 2023 M8 that I got to drive. That way you're beating up on their cars, not on your brand new cars.
What car are you guys picking up?
M8.
M8? Right there, little one.
Awesome.
Saddle up.
Miserable rainy day, but sweet car. '23 M8. Now after you get in your cars, you get the seats and everything adjusted, you go out to the track and you do the exercises. The order that you do them is just random depending on which group you get into.
We're a pretty busy facility, and there's a million ways to go around this place. I don't want you to get lost. Let me show you what we're going to do first, right out of the bat. You're going to do this exercise in my car, but let me just take you for a quick tour around the skid pad, okay?
My group, the first thing we did was the skid pad. The skid pad is a circular polished surface, and if it's not raining, they turn the sprinklers on so that it's wet. If it is raining, like when we were there, you don't need the sprinklers because the whole thing's wet and your car is wet, and it's just slippery on its own.
Around that yellow, okay? And then when I say floor the gas pedal, you're gonna floor it.
You'll go around that skid pad and the instructor's 340,
Don't come off the gas.
and they're sitting next to you and you're going about 20, 25 miles an hour, and they will have you floor it and you will spin out. They turn all the traction control off.
And braking now, braking. Fantastic, good job. Look, 360 and you drove away. That's like
Getting better.
Like a stunt driving school. Eyes over there and floor the gas. Floor it, floor it, floor it. Braking, to the left, go to the left. There you go, nice.
You do that twice, it's a lot of fun. It's not scary. Some people feel like it's scary initially. If you've never done it, it's really not bad at all. If you're going to screw up there because you're not going to run into other cars or guardrails or things like that. Then the instructor turns on all the nannies, all the safety features on the car, and you try and do it again, and it makes you realize just how well the car controls itself to keep you safe on the road.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So, in control versus spinning, you're a good driver. Are you done schools with us?
This is my 6th time here.
Oh, explains a lot.
Next was the braking exercise where they have you go down a curved section of the track at 30, 40, 50, and 55 miles an hour. And when you get to a certain point, you slam on the brakes. Put that pedal through the floor and you have to curve to the left a little bit. And the idea of this is so that you understand how the ABS system will work. Now this seems like and is a fairly straightforward exercise, but there's actually a lot more going on than it seems like there should be in your head. You're trying to watch your speed to get to that right speed, especially when you're at 55. It's a fairly short section of track. You're trying to turn gently to the right, and then you're trying to find that point where you have to slam on those brakes and then turn to the left. And for some reason, even though it's a bunch of simple things, going on your head all at once, it seems a little bit more complex than you think it would actually be. Not bad, but just a little more than you probably give it credit for until you do it.
I'm going to accelerate to 55, 40, 50, 55. There it is. Hold the speed, and brake hard, and steer to the left as necessary, okay? Let's go.
Nice ride.
And then you gotta brake super hard, slow. It looks about right. Looks about right.
45, 46.
Brake hard. Steer.
Big
Look
difference.
At that.
Big difference.
It. That's much better.
2 feet on the brake pedal that time.
55, you stop 1 car length later. That's literally how it happens, okay? And then you gotta brake super hard, slow.
30.
It looks about right. Looks about
45, 46.
Brake hard. Steer. Look at that. Right on.
All right, 55.
Muy bien. Estaba tirando. Ignoraste el peso. Okay, my M8 drivers. 55, go. 55. You gotta brake hard.
Kill us.
Right before. Don't overshoot it. Don't do more than 55. And brake. Keep steering. Hooray! I'm very proud of all of you drivers. I feel like I can share a public road with you. You're gonna crush it with me.
Next was the handling course, which you could see is roughly an oval with some turns, even a few sharp turns at the end. And doing this on dry pavement is not too bad, but doing it for the first time in a 617 horsepower M8, which is at least all-wheel drive, but in the pouring rain, especially by the end of it, both John and I weren't quite sure how hard we could push it before we started losing control of it and slid off the track. So it was a bit of a trial and error, and by the time you got to the end of the laps, you kind of had a better handle on things, and it's a great course for just realizing how the car will handle, and especially this car had the P0 tires, which are a little questionable in the weather based on a lot of people's reviews. You start off and you follow the instructor around. We had Raphael, and he kind of shows you the ins and outs of the course and the turns and where to brake, and eventually they set you free and you do several laps on your own. It's a fun course, wet or dry.
And out of the opening, through there, you maintain the speed. Okay, don't try to go fast, just maintain it, okay? Right, left, really quick. No braking in between. Through this segment here, we go fast. We go fast through here. Christy's car, hold right there. I believe that's Greg. Greg, you can go. Go, Greg. Yeah. Okay, everybody to the pit road, everybody coming in, getting right behind me. Fantastic session, drivers. Follow me.
Yeah, hard to know how much to push that.
Yeah,
After
our kind of.
we both had some grass issues,
Yeah, we did.
and
We avoided the John Deere award.
we avoided the John Deere award on that one. But yeah, an M8 auto power. P0s get kind of a bad rap for weather and wetness, and he even agreed when I was talking to him in the car. So yeah, hard to know how much you could push that going around a corner.
Part of it for me also was visibility because of the rain.
Right, it was raining so hard by the end, you almost couldn't see.
Right. So we had some complicating issues, but it was great.
It was a good time though.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We should come back and buy another M8 in good weather.
We should.
Your turn.
Okay.
You need one to go through X3.
I do.
You also get the opportunity to do a hot lap with one of the instructors driving one of the cars, and this is just a regular street legal car, and as the one instructor said, the only mod is them. And it's even more interesting to do it in the rain because, as Matt Mullen said last time when he drove the M5 with me, you just never know what you're going to get with these cars in the rain, but it's a totally safe thing. Again, these are what these instructors do for a living, and it's a great experience, so I recommend taking advantage of it. The experience of watching the instructor drive makes you realize that even though you thought you were an amazing driver in a track sense, you really kind of suck at it. Next is the off-road course in the X5s, and one of the things that this course makes you appreciate is that these X vehicles are capable of a lot more than the average person would give them credit for. A lot of people think that they bought their luxury SUV and you need to drive it on pristine dry roads because, again, it's a fancy BMW. But this course makes you appreciate that this actually has a lot of off-road capabilities you wouldn't otherwise give it credit for. You drive it through some pretty deep water for a ways. You go up over a hill where you get onto two wheels using the X drive to pull you over. You get up to the top of this incline where you do this really pretty sudden jolting drop down onto three wheels. You go down a decline using the hill descent, some pretty steep side angles. Really, it's just a good course to give you a full appreciation for what these X vehicles are capable of.
The first thing we're going to encounter is our water crossing. The water crossing really only has one rule: no splashes allowed. Other than that, there's no capacity limit or anything like that, so we can just go in here nose to tail, one right after another. When you're in the water crossing, a good general rule to follow is to go slower than the weight that you are creating, right? Or at least as slow. That way there's no worry that the water will come up over the hood and possibly get stuck in right there. When you exit the water crossing, you're not really going to be able to see where you're going. Just keep the steering wheel straight, nothing over the crest. You should be fine. Alright, car 1, go ahead and start to crawl up that hill. 3 miles an hour will be perfect, but please no more than 5. Excellent. Keep going. Keep the steering wheel straight. Keep it straight. And stop.
Ooh.
Wow.
Jeez.
Alright. Let it settle. Now.
That was a drastic bounce.
What we call tripoding. One tire's off the ground. Excellent. Yep, you got it. And just steer as necessary to avoid fence posts on the way down. Nothing to it. Alright, car 2, go ahead and start to crawl up that hill.
Hold that.
Excellent. Keep coming. A little bit to the left. Just a little. Now straighten the wheel. There you go. And stop. Perfect. So you feel what's about to happen. Give me a smooth, consistent amount of throttle and be ready to stop again one more time when I tell you to. You're going to get a little wheel spin. This is okay. Just be consistent on the gas pedal. Yeah, that's alright. And stop. Perfect. Just a little bit more left steering. Just a little. There you go. And now
How you doing up there?
Very slowly release the brake. And there you go. You got it, brother.
I saw them do that, and I was like, whoa.
Ease left, all the way left.
Puddle.
Make you put the left side tires in the grass. There, seeing a vehicle ahead of you. And just following their path. When you get to the top, there is a narrow wooden bridge. Just try to center up on it best you can. After the bridge, there's going to be 2 red and white cones on the left that usually are standing up. It looks like that group just left off road, knocked them over. But we basically want to steer around those 2 cones to the left. Right? Make sure you drive far enough forward that you can clear them with your rear tire and then steer hard left. And as you're steering left, don't look through the windshield. Look through the driver's side door light. Right? That way you can see the upcoming obstacles well ahead of time and adjust for them as necessary. You don't need to wait to come on up. But I will say, when in doubt, stay a little farther away from the fence. Right? We want to make sure our fence remains standing. There will be an opportunity
25
to have
degrees,
a driver's side to do
6.
again. And the driver's side is actually easier because you can look through the door glass and see where you're at in relation to the fence, which might give you some more. But as you come off, just steer to the right a bit.
Walk down there going.
To the right a little bit. There's plenty of real estate to the right. Here's up before we damage the vehicle in this. Then we got one last up and over.
Next, we drove our X5s over to the factory for the factory tour, and there are no electronics of any kind allowed in the factory. You even have to leave your watch in the car. So I have no videos or pictures from the factory, but one of the interesting things that you kind of grow to appreciate from walking around the factory, other than the amazing assembly process of the cars, is that the factory is gargantuan. It is a huge place, more than you can really appreciate when you're there. And watching the factory process, the building, and watching at the end where they put the roundels and they pound them onto the car, it's just a really neat experience. Afterwards, they give you a little kind of medallion, a refrigerator magnet in my case, as a memento of your tour. I've done it 4 times now, and I mean, it's part of your performance center delivery, but it's a neat experience to go see where your cars are built, even if you're not picking up an X vehicle. Next up is the included lunch. It's served kind of buffet style. There's a couple different entrees and salads and drinks and desserts. And this is a really good tasting lunch, made even more tasty by the fact that you know the next thing that's happening is you're getting your car. You've been building up this anticipation, in my case, 262 days, and I know that right after I eat, I'm going to get my car. And it's almost kind of surreal at that point. You're kind of in this cafeteria area and you can't see down to where the cars are being delivered. So you're sitting there, and usually after lunch, you walk down the hall to the gift shop. But one of the things that happens when you're down that hall is that there are 2 delivery bays and my car has always been in one of those 2 delivery bays. And I'm looking there and there is no my car. And I'm getting a little nervous because there's no car in the lobby and there's no car in the delivery bays. And well, where's my car? So I've been following on the My BMW app for 2 days and I know it's been there, but suddenly there's no car. And we're sitting there and I'm kind of just getting a little worried, and then I hear this rumble from the lobby. And I walk back down to the lobby with this thought in my brain, and sure enough, there they are backing my new M8 with that gorgeous sounding V8 into the lobby, out of the rain, into the lobby. And it was just a sight to behold. After so long, I've been waiting for this car for so long, and to finally see it in person and hear it in person and touch it, it was a surreal moment. They spent the next 10 or 15 minutes drying it because it had been raining all day, and this car is never going to be as clean as it was at that moment. And then it was delivery time. I met my delivery specialist, and they usually give you about 2 hours. And in this case, he kind of said, you know, you've had a bunch of cars before, we can do as much or as little as you want. And we did some settings, went over some things, but in the end, that's most of what the delivery process was. I've had an iDrive 7 car before, and then we took it out, they drove it out. And the car, it is just a gorgeous car. It's Santorini Blue. I had an Enzian Blue M4 previously, and the Santorini, I would say, is a little bit, maybe a shade lighter. The lines on the car are gorgeous. The color is gorgeous. The interior black Midrand is gorgeous. My first venture into non-all black seats. I love the sporty look of that. The car is just gorgeous, and I am in love with finally owning it. I've been home with it now for a week, and I love it every time I drive it. I've gotten some comments on it. People love the color. It's just such a beautiful car, and I'm thrilled to finally own it. So I appreciate you watching this video. Post some comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have one. Let me know if you've done a performance center delivery. If not, I recommend checking it out because it is an awesome experience. You go drink the BMW Kool-Aid for a few days, and it is delicious.